Hello, gamers. I'm feeling normal. I'm feeling so normal right now. I have uni assignments due in 5 days, and they have definitely not led me down a weird rabbit hole. I am completely on topic, and everything is fine, okay? Glad we all understand. Can I decide what angle I'm going to approach this at? No, I cannot. Hey! Nicely done, Worm. I'm just losing my mind up for this, okay? Like, having to examine myself is just a thing. So I need another note card. That's what I need. That will help somehow, I want. If I just have more surfaces, if I have more surfaces for writing, that will make this work, right? We all understand that's how it works, yeah? Right, so... My parents don't believe me that my work doesn't make any sense, but I promise you. Worm, did I send you... I don't think I sent you the actual outline for this task. Hold on. I'm going to send you the outline. You're special, you can see the outline. It'd probably have helped if I just sent you the outline when I asked you about your opinions. I'm having to have calm music because my brain isn't calm right now, and I'm trying to force it. I'm sure I can find one. I'm sure I can write out the entire script of Wouldn't. Or Rekindled. I just hand in my assignment, but it's performance art. They say it does say on it any style, so I think performance art should count. That is the style that I can choose. I'm going to open the dashboard now. True, they do know what they're doing on my channel for that one. I can't remember what I was saying. Like I said, my brain is absolutely destroyed at the minute. You need to work hard. It's like I'm like, okay, maybe I have an idea, and then I'm just like, oh, you need 6 sources in this, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to incorporate those. I like this one. I mean, I was tempted to be like, comment from Internet Worm, and I can't say what the comment was on stream. I'd say the same expunged thing about me. I was going to look something up. I now forgot what it was. If I just quote from random musicals and plays, those need to have sources. Those go in the reference list. Where so see, the thing with this has been there's quite a bit of focus put on writing in the north of Scotland, and it's like I can't say I feel particularly influenced by the north of Scotland in my work. Like, we're not to limit ourselves to that by any means, but it has been one of those things. Ah, yes, the rain, which I can use to symbolize character depression. I mean, if I want, I could just go like really broad on this and just be like, yeah, influence of being real gay. Though I feel like they'll be like, you're stereotyping yourself too much, and it's like, yeah, but I be like that. I do be like that though. Right? Like, yeah, I'm gay and I like musicals, okay? I like musicals and I read a load of gay books growing up and I love Devilman. Wow. Yeah, there's a quote that will go on. I'll put that one in as a quote. I think it's hard quote. Let's see. Yeah, quote. It's not telling me how quote works properly, but hey, we'll try exclamation point quote add. And it will be and put a space between quote and add. There we go. Finally, a quote. Can I do it? There we go. Yeah, put quote credits in. Since we're having quotes from people other than me, we might as well have quote credit. There we go. So I can now do. It's not in caps lock on the actual quote, you're fine. Rep. Sorry, I misread. Alright, is it worth me going? I'm like, how expansive do I want to go on the concept? Like, I think going as low as theatre is probably the best idea. I don't think I should go lower than that. Do I go as high as queer identity? We'll see if there's any promo in this stream. We don't know yet. It might just be we're going to help me study and we're going to get over it. Being one and the same. Yeah, that's true. I feel they are easy to interconnect. Like, it's like the things I have, I'm like, there's very clear connections. Like, oh, this links into this, and this links into this. Exactly. So some of the main things I have are like musicals. As I say, musicals, Shakespeare, tragic comedy and dramedy, and queer identity, and then I've got stuff about Pulp Fiction, which ties in to my journey to where I am. So like, if we go. Because it's basically like this adds up to this and this add up to this. But it's like I need to write down my working. So if we go. But I'm like, where does musical come in this timeline? Because like some of my earliest memories of musicals are like, Calamity Jane. Like, damn, look at me now. Absolutely, because like I feel that's in the heart of when you get into like trash comedy musicals, particularly because like how Little Shop of Horrors very much so, Sweeney Todd, Into the Woods, all those kind of things, and you're just going to get some fucked up little guys, and then you get into, then we can get into Rocky Horror and stuff. Oh, that's given me an idea for a source. Find. I'm curious, Worm, if you will be able to guess who the source was. I think you'll know. Where's the phone? Oops, there. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't kidding when I said yeah, I could actually do that because they say it. I can commit to performance art. Yeah. What if I knew sandwich and parole as a reference? Like, do you know the emotional impact this has had on me since release? I just remember. There's no way. Hold on. I'm spelling his name right, aren't I? Don't autocomplete when I'm trying to search something. So no. Yo, shout out to my uni, where the only anything they have on John Waters is is wrote by John Waters himself. Jesus Christ, come on, y'all. I mean, we say I could get away with it. It's questionable if my lecturer would let me away with it. I mean, as long as I can justify myself, can't you stop me? Thank you, I appreciate it so much. Lol. Just so you're aware, you are the class. Yeah, just because, like, I'm kind of just thrown by the fact that there's nothing in my uni library on John Waters. Like, that is wild. Like, you want to talk about influences um in queer media. I mean, true. Absolutely true. Like, gestures at you and how much she's refined. Somewhere. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's easy to get, for things like the aggressiveness of queer media, to get lost in, like, the conversations we have about queer theory, which is wild because it's such a fundamental part of things, but also the growing interest in conformity kind of gets against that. I mean, I say growing interest, but like, that interest has always been there, but people aren't people aren't growing up with the otherness that is expected. That was the core of it. Absolutely. Get what copyright. Hello, I'm here for warm lecture time. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think people don't really get that how strict copyright laws were at the time. Because one thing is, you'll see people being like, oh, don't do. If you do fanfic commissions, you're the devil because, the copyright holder will come for you and go for. And whatever. But they're like. They will say in the exact same breath that it's fine to take commissions for fan art or to do fan merchandise. When, like, no, the source you're calling on for why you can't do fan fiction commissions at this exact same time that people were being taken to court for that, they were being taken to court for fan art, fan merch, and anything else because copyright was just like that. It just happens that fan fiction has been the one that people have kept the most of the mentality of you can't do that on. Because it, like, I do cons, and every time I get a contract from a con, it will say that you can't sell basically fan merch in so many words. Which, hey, if you've ever been to a con, no one follows that rule. But the con basically has an outline that says, if you do it, that's on you, not on the con, for this exact reason. And if you're, setting up for cons and you look into it, you'll see loads of forums of people telling you, hey, don't do fan merch because the copyright police will come for you. Yeah, that's huge, anyway. So, right, like, writing is still art, and like it just happens that some of the more notable cases were with writing. But if you engage your brain on this, you'll notice, for example, things like Hello Kitty, you will still, anytime there's fakes, they'll be very noticeable, or not fakes, anytime there is a parody of Hello Kitty in something, they have to make it very clearly not Hello Kitty. But that extends to, like, any merchandise not licensed by Sanrio. God damn it. Okay, we have to wait patiently. Apologize for the for the keyboard sound, y'all. Uh, let's just go DM so I can keep tabs on the whatchamacallit, on the coffee pasta. I'm just going to hit. Hello? Okay, there's the worm. Everyone say hi, worm. Worm, say hi. Okay, it is not being picked up by disc. Bye. Alright, try now.
Hello.
Okay, now they can hear you.
Ooh.
Alright, back to whatever our unhinged conversation was.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't want like another roll to like stop your momentum.
Yeah, good call. I have no idea what I was talking about at this point.
We are both neurodivergent.
Yeah, we're both jumping rapidly between things while I try to formulate some plan for this essay.
I think
Oh, I was talking about
the
Hello
whole like
Kitty.
writing versus art, and yeah, Hello Kitty.
Yeah. So yeah, when you go into anything that has Sanrio characters and is not licensed by Sanrio, you're going to get the whip crackdown, just like Disney. And people seem to get that. Like, it's very much not just writing that they're going to go for here.
It is anything.
They want to take us down. It is not about the writing, y'all.
And it's like the same it's just like so it's what's it called? Same ingredient, what was it? Same ingredients, different soup?
Yeah.
Or is it the other way around? Some shit like that.
Same ingredients, different soup makes sense to me. That tracks.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's like the nature of like content like that as a whole is just meant to be like, they are acts of protest. They are like, you know, they are meant to be, they well, whether or not they mean to be, they end up becoming a statement regardless.
Yeah. It's like, we can get into context readings. It's like, this may not have been intentional, but it is what you created in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, fucking like everything is derivative and everything eventually is going to be an infringement of something else. just like everything is derivative of everything. Everything
is
an
Devilman,
infringement of
especially
something.
my work.
It's like the Lilo and Stitch scene where it's like, this is your Devilman levels. These are much higher than usual.
We have to fix that.
No, you don't. No, we don't.
And then I eat 2 slices of cake at once.
Oh boy. Oh boy, 2 cakes. Also, you can absolutely like pull something from your ass.
Oh,
for
absolutely.
this. Absolutely.
It's more the thing that, like, you can look at what this task says. I am like, so it's an argumentative essay, except it can be in any person, tense, or style.
It's like too much choice.
Yeah, that's way too much choice. And I'm trying to think, how can I approach this that I have a clearly defined argument in paragraph 1, and then, you know, do the argumentative essay for the rest of it, while also not doing the structure of an argumentative essay. Or not doing the style of an argumentative essay, even.
BRB Googling another copy pasta. I'm here to get that character count up, baby.
Baby, let's go.
I'm also like, every so often, like I revisit the screen cap and I'm looking at it and I'm just like, man, this assignment can fit so much bullshit in it.
Right. Listen, it has been 11 weeks of my lecture talking at this level.
Make them regret giving too much choice.
Yeah.
Become the reason they have to change the rules.
I mean, that's what I usually... Okay, you want my context? You want my context? Watch this. Submits an 8-hour video.
Oh, thank God.
Is this 2,000 words?
Just straight up become one of those, like, those YouTube channels. I keep forgetting, video essay.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Oh my God. I'm going to speedrun going back to school
Mm-hmm.
just so I can like bullshit a paper and then you can use that.
I mean, I'm perfectly capable of bullshitting my own paper. But if you mean for a reference, I would appreciate it, and I will.
Yeah,
I will be your peer reviewer. Citing this study I this paper I peer reviewed.
peer reviewed over twitch.tv.
Live on stream, you can see the process.
Not clickbait. Oh, it's like that screen cap. I can't recite all the entire thing, but what was it? Can you write me an essay? It's 10 pages. When's it due? 10 minutes. Oh, I had an idea where it says you can write in whatever like style and tense and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What if you wrote like just extremely like just like a self-insert fic? Write it like a self-insert fic.
I could.
Write it out like a visual novel.
Submitting a visual novel. Opens Renko.
And like right at the end, you can you attach like character sheet.
I'm like,
That is a vivid description.
that is a vivid description. I'm like, what if I just email my lecturer with 5 days before this is to be handed in? To be like, hey,
Oh my
when you
God.
say any style.
Be like, hey lecturer, what's your Steam account? Let me gift you this game I just published.
I swear it's 2,000 words.
It's 2,000 words
I made
and
it in
comes with
RPG
its own
Maker.
OST.
Made an RPG Maker, there is a dating element. If you pick the wrong choice, you die.
Oh, what if all the bad routes are like really, really short and they're like, oh, that's not 2,000 words. It's like, but you didn't go through all the routes. All of
Did
the
you see the
routes
true ending?
together. Yeah. Did you
Wow.
get the DLC?
Did you get the costume pack? It adds some new voice lines.
I think that would be like the ultimate power move.
I think it would be.
It has novel in the name.
Well, game
It
jams
works.
are typically 3 days, so. But now that you've said that, I'm like, what if I just do character interviews?
Ooh. You just interview a bunch of kitties.
So, as the first thing.
You beat me to it, I was gonna be like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
But I already have a quote from you.
Never have too many.
True.
We sure do love filler.
But I thought that's what the copy pasta was.
Adam Driver voice. More! More! I will also be working alongside you. I'm gonna use the funny bot.
Ooh.
I just need to remember where all my tabs were.
I keep staring at this like, you said any stat. You may write in whichever style you like. Like, you can't. As long as it's not fiction. As long as I swear that it's true. As long as I promise that it's true, you can't say anything.
Or just trust me, dude.
Yeah!
I will not give context. Unless if you say pretty please, then I may.
Pretty please?
Hell yeah. Give me a second. I need to make sure this fits in a screenshot.
I know I'm really bad at iambic pentameter, but what if I just wrote an entire paragraph in an iambic pentameter?
Who will stop you?
No one. Will anyone notice? Is the bigger question.
Do it. Just do it.
I'm now at an impasse because I'm like, well, now I want to create art.
For your visual novel?
Yeah, well, no, not for my visual. I mean, like, art as a concept. I don't want to just write an essay, I want to create art.
I think you could absolutely do that. I think you should. It would be a way to make it at least more fun.
This was more fun for me. I don't give a crap. I have to repeat this. I don't care. This was a phone-in class anyway. Like, sure, you kind of like me, I think. Just give me a good grade.
Come on, it's my birthday.
I'm
I'm a birthday
boy. I'm just a little birthday boy. Hi, Proto. How are you? We're not doing any pomo at the minute because we're discussing my study stuff. Yo-ho!
I am here, but I am invisible.
Yeah, Worm's invisible. I'm glad I got
I'm like miasma.
I mean, what else is new about you? I'm
Oh,
good.
thanks.
We're trying to big brain our way through an essay with very vague instructions. Why did I delete that? I need to put that on my NaNoWriMo count because I totally wrote those words, so it counts. Even if I delete them all, it counts.
I almost sent you 2 of the same screenshot.
2 of them?
To Mimir. But there is your context.
Ooh.
I am on Funny Dragon's site.
Have fun. Very excited.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have 4 sections here. So, could I find a way to use the style of all of these in their relevant section? Do you think that comes into artsy problem child enough?
So say it one more time for me, just so it like all flows in one piece.
So I have 4 sections here, and I'm thinking if I mimic the style of those, could that be artsy problem child enough to satisfy my artsy problem child brain?
I think that could work.
So okay, I think let's write down style mimicry. That's something. Why am I not approaching this the normal way? Why am I not being normal about that?
Well, as per our conversation earlier about
Okay.
theater and gay expression, like there's no normal in that. There's just full throttle, like full throttle spectacle.
Full throttle, there's something wrong with me. And you will be subjected.
I'm going to make it everyone else's problem.
Exactly, that's how we need to be all the time. Also, Froto, if you want to add any tasks you're working on to the Sweetbot, you are welcome to.
Yeah, feel free to work alongside us.
We will try not to be too distracting with this.
Intern, you are allowed to say no, but could I maybe send some PNGs your way?
Absolutely.
For opinions.
Yep.
Hell yeah, thank you. Wait, I know you've used the site in the past. Are you still familiar with like the gene terms?
Mostly yes, but there might be some that have been added since I last used it.
Oh yeah. There's definitely been a lot more added. But I just mean like the basics of which
absolutely.
tertiary looks better.
Yeah.
All right. Which tertiary looks better between these two?
I am inclined to the bottom one, but I'm going to say I'm going to say the word Stankuroto, and you can decide if that's positive.
Yeah, that works.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I will show you what the counterpart is going to look like of this pair. Because I'm trying to make them look similar, but not exactly identical.
Alright, while you're doing that, since I'm going to need an intro paragraph to this, do you think it is worth doing a little talk about queer expression and then just launching into the stuff that's actually relevant and then just tie it all in at the end? Do you think that's the way to go with it?
I think that would make honestly a really good jumping off point. Just because like it's something that can get very, very easily. And so it's just, it's relatively like pretty, it's not as stressful to kind of like start talking about.
And also it gives me the safety net of them not being like, hey, why the fuck did you do this?
Exactly.
It's like, here's your context anyway.
It's like the bright colors on like a poison dart frog. It's just like, you saw this coming. You know I'm gonna be annoying about this.
Dead dog,
so
do
buckle
not
in.
Eat.
Don't dead open inside.
And also that gives me a point to put in my 6 references.
Nice. Here's the counterpart for that. So for this pair, like I said, I didn't want them to be perfectly identical because I wanted one to look like the old school BSOD look, where it was a much more like darker blue.
Yeah.
And then the other
I
one, you know, like
remember
the
the good
current
old
like
days of
post
that.
win the post like Windows 10, Windows
The
11,
little
like
sad
going
face.
corpo. Yeah, exactly, where it's like a much lighter blue.
Okay, in that case, I will say the first one for
The
the first
first one.
one. And yeah, the second one, perfect.
Awesome. So let me
Given that
edit
context,
that.
yeah, I will give that.
Awesome. I may honestly tweak the colors a little bit.
I think you could go
I
a
have
little
to.
more light on the secondary color.
I may because the thing is that like I have to put when I'm making the breeding cards for them, I have to see like um like the colors in between theirs and how that'll show up with the specific gene.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure that those match. I may honestly tighten the color range as well because uh oh wait, it may actually be fine. I was worried that about it going into so real quick, you did say the first one then?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me edit that to contour.
You know what? I'm going to just look up for interviews with John Waters, since I can't find any scholarly papers.
Alright. That cards. This is the one. Alright.
Okay, I know I have like actual points to make on this, but I'm like, well, if I'm doing stylistic mimicry, there is one thing that stylistic mimicry is amazingly funny to do every single time.
Oh boy.
A young man standing.
No! It's not even April yet.
It's not even my
Back, I
birthday.
say. I will turn you into a Homestuck too. Don't test me.
Please, please, actually, it's my birthday. I'm just a little birthday boy. Don't do it.
Oh, even more perfect timing.
Oh, no.
That goes into Sapphire. Sapphire to
I feel like I'm going to have some issues with getting quote unquote, well, not quote unquote, but academic sources on queer expression in this form, because I feel like there's a level of conformity you have to reach to have an academic paper.
Ah,
I'm saying this while scrolling through my uni library.
scrolling at the speed of sound. Might have to. I might actually have to tighten that color range after all, because when it goes into the specifically blue, it passes ultramarine, which means that their offspring will have a chance of being ultramarine.
Mm.
And the accent color of that is like a very bright yellow, which I mean, it's not going to look bad, but if I do want to keep to the theme of the prompt or
Mm-hmm.
the B-sod, then I might have to tighten that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. For now, that's a good scry. I'm gonna cross that off.
Nice idea.
Thank you. This is going to cost me so much money that I do not have.
Please. Please take care. I can't afford to feed my dragons, that's why I don't go on the site.
Oh, actually, very recently they dropped a new they dropped some new content, and I think as a perk, everyone's accounts got fed.
Mine will actually be fed anyway because I haven't logged in so long that they'll automatically feed all my dragons.
The pity, the
The petty feed. Please stop. Please come
exactly.
back and use our site.
Though if you are interested, you do get a free thing. I think it's still available to claim. TLDR, it's two breed change scrolls because a new ancient breed just dropped.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're doing. I don't know if you've heard of like that big update where they're rolling out ancient breeds.
I mean, recent one or the one that's been around?
Just in general, like
Yeah.
how they're
Yeah, I
how they've
have.
been. Yeah, a new one just dropped.
They did have a big announcement recently, though, that I can't remember what it was.
It was not Tide Lord. Stop asking about him. I love how they
Why did you
specifically
know
said that.
what
It's
was?
just. I, one thing I do adore about the site is that if you go onto the deities like profiles, like in the comment sections, like you have people in the respective flight like commenting on it and being like, "Dad, where are you? Please come home." I am curious to see what people are saying to Tide Lord.
I'm not going to be able to say this in chat, but I'm just going to send it to you, and you can tell me if
Oh
if I should
hell
put
yeah!
this in my essay.
Oh, I am excited. Let's see. Oh, that. Oh, that is so good though.
It's so good.
Like, I want to say, like, I think you absolutely can't. Like I said, like, you could just have fun with it,
Like
and
you
like,
asked, Worsty.
exactly, like this is what you get.
I've been released on the people. What did you expect to happen?
The person who sent you this video just escaped containment.
No, it was while I've been doing this, I've been thinking about this actual course and like the works that I've been producing on the course, and I realised that I have not been writing the things I naturally write, which is a very weird thing to realise. And it's mostly been because my course is basically like, hey, write 500 words, and a lot of what I write ends up being long form tragicomedy or dramedy, and that does not work in a 500 word format. Or it very much struggles to without getting stale over the course of 50 of them.
I am listening, by the way. I'm just
Yeah.
going a bit back and forth. I'm noticing something very important. There we go. Man, like I do hear that. I'm still just very much thinking like make lecturer regret
Yeah.
and sort of
Lecture
like
regret, very important.
also like don't like super restrain yourself. I think that's also like part of, I think, like something that, you know, to preserve your sanity about this assignment is like,
No, I'm just
you know,
doing
just
whatever I
comments.
want.
Exactly. Professor Jiggly is loose in the cat room. It is very hilarious to see like the duality of people like commenting on these profiles of their respective deities, and like half of it is very, you know, like flowery and prosy and all, you know, very like with great reverence because this is your god, but also there's people like uh hold on, there was one, why do you have a cat snout? Your children need you.
Hunter.
I think it's time for a manlet. Wait, are they still small?
We'll BRB real quick, and then I will be back with some questions while I'm working on this.
For sure.
Oh, hold on. Wait.
We're going to delete the VoD now, so. You're crawling your way into my bed.
Did you ask
It's
for me?
baby.
Is it a case?
Not quite. I want your opinion on something.
Sure. Your judgment is quite often correct, though. Can we discuss this over sushi, perhaps? You are making a student work late, after all.
Conveyor belt only.
It's baby.
Impressive if someone really did that.
Baby! No, baby, show baby again. Show baby again. I saw baby. Oh, baby. Didn't that happen for literally every character in Persona 4? Didn't they all miss their character growth arc and just revert to how they were before? Except pretend that they enjoy it now? And right, this is the part where I am going to annoy Dana to get its opinions on queer expression, so that I know I'm not going off track with this.
Whoa.
Dana, please start your lecture.
Wait, my lecture?
Just on queer expression.
Where should I start?
Wherever you feel is relevant. On nature spectacle and stuff.
Okay, I'm back as
Welcome
well.
back.
That was fast. Thank you. Um, so where should I start?
Spectacle?
So just like the nature of like, what was it? You said like queer expression and spectacle.
Uh-huh.
I think like, so do you want like just like personal thoughts on it, or just like more objective, like as it is, or like does it not matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. In that case, then like it's something that honestly you can't like pull apart into separate things. And like while it, you know, people do like we mentioned this earlier where people will say like, oh well, that's like a stereotype, but the kernel truth is that is that there are a lot of queer folk who do like derive so much of their self-expression in through theatrics, like because that was like historically that has been an environment where you could like explore different parts of yourself, or you could explore different identities through playing different parts, but also like it, you know, in that type of environment also like it was just, you know, it was just something you did. It wasn't like you had the platform to perform, and that definitely like gave way for people to be like, well, hey, wait, like this actually like gives me a sense of euphoria, for example. um you know, like it almost gave yourself a little like sampler of an alternate life you could have if you lived, you know, as this type of person. And because, you know, everyone else is doing that more or less in that environment, you weren't alone in that. It was a shared experience. So you were with, you know, um a lot of your own, whether you were aware of it or not. um and you know how that manifests in a lot of like queer expression, even for folks who, you know, have never set foot in a theater or who don't perform for themselves. It's like it's so prevalent in media that like whether or not you're aware of it, like, you know, theater and musicals and drama, like it's very very baked in, like, you know, like I said, like it's very hard to separate uh drama and theater from queer identity and expression and culture. They're just so like intertwined with one another. um and it almost feels like you can't have one without the other, at least in my personal onion. um and absolutely, you know, there are queer folks who like who don't exhibit those isms, and that's, and I'm not meaning to invalidate them. You know, because coexistence is a thing, like comfortable coexistence happens. um you know, it never has to be like just one or the other. But it is just a very, it's just a very true statement where it's like, yeah, because of how, you know, ingrained it is um with the community as a whole. Like you don't have to have seen a production to pick up the isms and to display that. um and how that like plays into spectacle is that, like, yeah, like, you know, the world of theater is known to be very, you know, out loud and weird about shit. Like anyone who has been to a production will know like just how batshit things can get. People who've worked in a theater production will know how batshit things can get. um and like that ties very muchly in with queer expression and the and you know the concept of spectacle is, it's very, you know, it's a protest. It like, in a way it's like a mini protest. Like it's very counterculture where it's like like quote unquote like normal society as a whole will look at this and be like, that's weird, we don't like it, or that's weird, we derive entertainment from it because, oh, look how weird and funny it is. But it's just very much just, you know, an expression of self, an expression of like other parts of the of humanity and identity and self that that society as a whole just doesn't really look at. They kind of either just kind of gloss over it, and just their takeaways that, oh, it's funny, or oh, it's weird, but they don't quite like look and experience it from um that critical eye of like, oh, this means something, this is like about like someone's personhood, for example. This can represent something from like someone's personality or their mind, or their feelings for someone. And that it's also where we find a lot of comfort in as well, where that safety to express that. And it manifests a lot in a lot of queer culture, and how like we can very loudly express ourselves in these very bold, non-conventional ways that it doesn't make it's not comfortable or convenient for cishet society, and it doesn't have to be. It never had to be. It's very in your face, very it can be very in your face, very like it's the whole we're here, we're queer, get used to it, like. And even though like, at least in me personally, like when I'm out in public, like I can be very mellow, but like, I mean, we've seen me on stream. Like, I am very just like boisterous about it. I'm very unapologetically queer. Like, so much, like my avatar, my model is such a gender fuck, and like I'm all here for it. And you know what? Like, that's it. That's the euphoria. Where it's like, it doesn't have to be like what people see as like traditionally like, no, traditionally like mask, traditionally, like whatever. It's very meant to be like,
Worm can have
not
a little drag.
as a treat. I actually do have a drag queen t-shirt like in my bedroom right now. I think I wore it yesterday as like pajamas, but like, no, yeah, like the queer expression like has always been fluid and ever changing and very confusing to the cishets. And honestly, like that's just good. I can't give it higher praise of like that's great. It's like there's just it's almost like validating in a way, just to be like, yeah, we are causing a disturbance. We're causing that disturbance, and but like in a very good way. Because it does challenge, like, for the cishets watching, it challenges their perspective. But also like, yeah, our existence has always been just it causes, it makes waves, it causes a ripple, like for a reason. Like, it's I'm not trying to say like, oh, we're meant to be like, the queer community is meant to be this way, but it just like it feels right to, of like, why restrain yourself? It's just very hello, we're now in the podcast zone.
Yeah, we're back into podcasting. That's where we're
I'm
going.
like, dude, let's just change the category to podcasts real quick. But no, we're this is nostalgic. Can't
Yeah,
quite put my
right.
finger on it. This feels nostalgic.
It's like Worm has disappeared. Oh, give me a second. Yeah, Worm has disappeared. We're back to the podcast. So character is gone.
Podcast.
Oh,
We're in the corn. We're in the corned beef zone.
Yeah, we're back in the corned beef zone. Also, I've just been asked to go grab something real quick, so I'll be right back again.
All right, for sure. Take care.
I am not better. I have zero problems with the Persona 4 writing.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
I never think about Persona 4.
Nice.
Here you go.
Full form. Hmm. I'm picking the one none of you picked. Okay, never mind. No, 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 not again, not again, not again, not again, not again, not again. No, 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 no. No. Okay, I now have food, so I will now eat for the corned beef soon.
Epic. What'd you have? What'd you get?
Pakora.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Mm-hmm. But like you were saying, what were? Yeah, it's like
corned beef
it feels natural for this theatrical. Give me the word.
It feels natural for like the
Spectacle. It feels natural,
for
and it is kind of that thing that, like, I do think, yeah, you can not be a part of that. That's definitely an option now. But I'm like, for me, it feels weird.
I think hot take. Now it really feels like a podcast zone. But hot take. Try as you might.
You're never going to be
know
one of them.
Exactly. It's that. I'm gonna DM it.
But I was going to say, like, even when in my teenage years, I was like, I am not part of counterculture. I am trying to distance myself from that as much as possible. And everyone who looked at me assigned me counterculture. Like, there was no getting away from it for me, because boy, be gay.
Literally, like, but no, like, I think of that post, the one I just DM'd you about. I don't know if I'm pretty sure you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't, I can, yeah. But like, yeah, so that's my hot take. Try as you might, like, as much as you try to assimilate, because it's essentially assimilation at that point, like to try and like appease cishet culture, like even if you yourself are not cishet, to be one of them. And I don't mean like through like conversion or through like detransitioning, but like specifically, like just appealing to cishet culture by being like, oh, I'm the most normcore gay or trans person,
I'm one of the good ones, like, please like me.
Exactly. It's like, you can be normcore and that's fine, but the fact of the matter is, no matter how normcore you are, you're always going to be othered by cisheads. Point blank. Like, to them, it's indiscriminate, Like, as soon as they catch a little
like I said, they
you're
looked
gone.
at me
You're gone.
and they knew. Like, there is no way I can go to anything and people don't at least notice something. Like, I didn't have people like accuse me of being gay, but I had people like, oh, you're not part of our culture.
Exactly.
Like, there was no getting away from that at any point, no matter what I did.
We don't know what you are, but you're definitely not one of us. Like, you don't belong. And like, I honestly felt that as well.
5-year-old girls on the playground diagnosing you with autism.
No, no. That's one of my best friends' mom. Not to tangent, but like, she really got into me for like not making eye contact. I had a huge issue with eye contact. So she like cornered me in her kitchen because I was like visiting over the summer or something. She like cornered me in her kitchen and she made me look her in the eyes, and she's like, "It's polite to make eye contact while talking," and I'm like, I want to go home.
That reminds me of a time I went to the cinema with my friends, and their dad was the one that was taking us. And at the end, he was like, "Okay, everyone listen to me. I have something important I have to tell you, whatever." And the reason I'm saying whatever is because my eyes immediately went, oh, there's credits on screen.
Oh.
So I got shouted.
Oh no.
It's like, I'm sorry, but I had to see the words that were on the screen. They were moving.
Exactly. It's like
Well, if I know one of the
when
actors' names.
when cats see a bird in the tree and they start making that noise.
Yeah, that's just what
I-
happened.
There is a bird there. I have to watch it until it goes away.
Hmm.
I would like to catch it.
I would like to eat it, please.
I would like you to know that there is an ad. You're getting an ad roll right now, and it's Puss in Boots.
It knows what my audience wants. Me and long
Cats burger. You could be New Boot Goofin. But no, like, yeah, like I experienced pretty much the same thing of long before I came out, long before I knew I wanted to come out, long before I knew anything about, who I would become, like, you had everyone, it's like everyone else knows before you.
Like, no, I'm normal, I swear.
Literally, it's just like, I'm totally cishet, ha ha ha.
Nothing suspicious here.
Me in middle school, like, haha, I am normal and cishet despite the fact of I'm in same-sex relationships. It's like, you have no
You're
idea
the
how bad
character
it
they
was.
write BL about.
I have had like very few quote unquote like straight or at least straight passing relationships during that time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all the people I were like in relationships with like were from Canada at that time. I don't know, I attracted Canadians.
Something about you appeal to Canadians. Can we take a look at your stream
guess.
demographics real quick?
Oh my god. But no, like, yeah, it's like no matter like how much you try to appeal and to be as normcore as possible, like you're still going to be other. Them's the breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And even in that alone, even if it seems smaller, that in and of itself is spectacle. You again, another hot take. I feel like that's in the very nature of being queer is that whether you like it or not, you will become part of a spectacle.
You are a spectacle. Your existence is spectacle.
Mm-hmm. Either affectionate or derogatory.
Yeah.
For me personally, it's like, feels good, feels organic. Thank you.
You better start looking at
just,
me.
Exactly. It's just like, on one hand, it can suck because it's just like, there are some folks who it's like, oh, I just want to like, I just want to vibe and get through life and like not have it be a big deal, and like that's totally valid. I absolutely understand that. There's also the other side of the other side of that coin though, where it's very like, no, you are going to look at me. I'm done with you trying to pretend I don't exist. Like, like you can't just ignore me when it's convenient for you. You can't just like sweep me under the rug as soon as I'm not profitable or as soon as I'm not entertaining to you. That and you can say, oh, like this is an ugly side of you. You could say like, oh, this is garish, this is tacky, this is too camp. It's like fruit found in bowl.
Fruit found in bowl.
It's just like, yes, hello, like,
I
is
sure
this your
hope
first
I am.
time? Yeah, I sure hope I am. Like, it's just very in the nature, like. And the thing is that, while it can suck in the sense of, oh, I have to plug my headset in real quick. My headset's about to die. One moment. There we go. But no, yeah, like, that's just it's very just, I am here and being unapologetic about existing, because for so much of queer history, like, people have tried to shove that down or to hide it, get rid of it altogether. Like, no, like, there's a reason why specifically like pride is a huge thing. Like, we we're existing. Like, like get fucking used to it. And that's why like we find so much comfort and identify so much with, theatrics.
Also, I think that's given me a good angle in the central paragraph, just talking about the inherent nature of being a spectacle.
Yes. I mean, look at us right now. we are quite literally, we are quite literally on a platform to be gawked at.
And we talk about normcore, and I'm like, I feel like I do fall. I feel like I fall into normcore, but unlike in terms of design. It's like this is a false flag. I am tricking you.
It's like you're a mimic right now.
Yeah.
Also, not too normcore. You got the nitrochiral hair. You got. Oh wait, shit! I don't know if I can. Am I allowed to say?
You can say that. I know you can say that much.
Okay.
I guess I do. Yeah.
You have the hair.
Listen, that is not where this hair came from. Maddie, welcome. We're podcasting right now. Not perfect.
Welcome to our inadvertent podcast.
But yeah, not where any of this design came from, surprisingly. But I would say like some of the roots of this design definitely came from, well, not even definitely, came from very queer media. And
absolutely.
Like, do we want me revealing any of where design elements of this came from? Do we want the meta?
Entirely up to you. I'm fine either way. Go for it if you're comfortable with it.
I'm trying to decide if I'm comfortable.
Sure. Also, you can just bombard me personally in the DMs.
I'm trying to think how I can be vague about it to continue this conversation on stream.
I see.
Like, I can tell you in DMs, but, like, how I keep this up. Thank you for the
What
follow.
you go?
2 warm voices. Thank you for the follow, Maddie.
Am I echoing? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, 2 warm voices and you're the alerts.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, one of the characters that played into a lot of this design is a character who is... Just Mad, okay? Alright, sure thing, Mad. Yeah, played into this kind of very unassuming, very normcore, and then it's like we get into this character and he's a little fucked up, actually. And it becomes a huge spectacle of the downfall, and the spiraling, and the I am being very normal in this children's show in the early 2000s as I say I love a guy.
I see.
Like, I'm getting away with this for some reason. No one has worked out how I got away with this.
Somehow I made it past the censors.
Somehow the censors did not catch this. I don't know if that was the Hays Code effect in going there, but...
Oops. Now we're here.
You're allowed to like men just a little bit.
As
you're evil about it.
I'm being so normal and evil about it right now. But also just like our models just like handshake emoji, long-haired gay motherfuckers.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm so normcore. No one would suspect anything.
Don't be suspicious.
Thank you for coming in, Mads. Good luck with any work you're doing. Good luck with whatever you're up to. Have a great day.
Yeah, take care. But also, even if your hair wasn't the length that it is, you have an ahoge there is something. There's
Wow. I
there's
would
something.
argue that's part of my hair.
I mean, I mean like the length thing. I'm like, you
Fair.
have feelers.
You keep adding them to my models.
And what about it?
But I would say, regardless, even with the model, my aura is going to come through.
Oh, absolutely. Just exuding.
Like, I don't think anyone comes in here. Even I know I have the tags, but I don't think you need them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we love to
in
make
a-
ourselves a spectacle.
Yeah, and like that is honestly like just like that's just like chef's kiss absolutely sexy
Mhm.
because like again like it's and I don't know, this might sound bad, who knows, I don't I don't really care too much at the moment, but it's like you don't get a choice to kind of shove us away,
Yeah.
right? It's
like,
like
we're
no,
here.
like you
We're
you
here,
you're you get to see all of this,
Mhm.
not just the parts that are conveniently comfortable for you.
Yep. It's like you have to listen to, like, for example, like, very silly example, I uploaded a clip to YouTube recently, and it was specifically the one in Persona 2 where we saw Tatsuya Tsudo for the first time, and, you know, I did the reasonable thing and meowed at him for a good while.
Nice.
Because, wow,
I do
my
remember
boy,
that.
my beloved boy, I love him so much. And I got comments on YouTube that are like, what the fuck is this? It's like, it's a queer person being queer, boy. And you don't get rid of that.
Yep.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to change my behavior.
And you shouldn't, like, it's, you know, your channel, your rules, but also like you're you know?
Exactly.
No one else can like take that away from you, and you know it's a very very special thing, like to be able to express yourself in that way and to find that foothold, you know. And I think it's honestly it's such a vindicating thing when like when queer folk like as a whole, when we find that one thing we just like we don't we just have a death grip on it.
It's like that's been the thing about streaming, is that I come on here and you're going to hear, I love this character. I love this character who does bad things. I love this character who isn't conforming to society. I love this character who's going fucking through it. And
Yep,
it
there's
doesn't.
a reason we're drawn to those characters.
And like, if Tatsuya Tsudo is an example, I will go off about the queer coding on that character. And I love him for it. And I love the writing for it. I love him.
That's me with I mean that's me with Rev, but mostly in the case of like, ooh, it's just pure life.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you go on stream and despite what Twitch may want, you get to express that. We'll
And
put you in a
it's
hot tub and it'll
honestly
be
so-
illegal, but
Oh god. But no, here's the thing. I've said like in some other chats before about like, oh my god, like I love playing Rev. Like I'm a Rev main. He's one of my favorites. I thirst for him, and people are like, "What is wrong with you? He's just like, he's a robot skeleton who's like gonna kill you." And I'm just like, "Yes,
yes.
what's not to get?" Like, for me, it's just like, "Oh my god, it's giving daddy." I'm sorry for being I'm sorry for popping that and being unhinged on your stream.
No,
But
no,
like,
actually I was going to say, I think that's fine. This stream is the stage for us, and like, you guys can go and chat and you can shout whatever you want. I don't have to listen to you. You can heckle me
Exactly.
as much as you want. It doesn't matter. This is my stage. I am the theatrical
You're
gay
sitting
on your
out.
stage.
Exactly. Like it's you know, it's how he sounds, but also it's like, yes, he is a villain, he is a murder bot, and I love him very much, and
Daddy, sorry.
Sorry, and
Daddy,
Daddy, sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm actually not sorry.
No, sorry. 0%.
But like, and people will say, well, you at least like his human, like when he was a human, right? And I'm
No.
like, that is no, that is like a basic blonde, like conventionally attractive human guy.
I've never seen that man before in my life.
I'm
Take
like,
him
this
away.
looks like this looks like this looks like this looks like a Tumblr Weedly. But like not even a good Tumblr Weedly. I'm like,
Early
I'm
Gen
sorry, but
Cecil.
I'm sorry, this blue, well, no, Three Eyes White Cecil. But no, like literally, like I'm just like, oh, he looks like so sanitized.
Mm-hmm.
Is the thing, and it's like Rev, how he is now, is so just unapologetically super brooding, over the top, edgy. It's almost like like people would say, like it's almost like it's cringe, like how edgy he is, and it's just like I love that though.
Yeah, I think
Because he gives it 100%, and also like he's a murder bot, and back to your point of we can like characters who do these things, and like yeah, we can do that. Fuck you.
bringing up this topic of cringe, I feel like that is one thing I'm like really getting into at the minute. Like I have been for the past year or so, like rediscovering like not cringing and going, yeah,
Yes.
you know what, I can like this. I can be so cringy all the time because, and I think that like that's going back into the whole thing of queer counterculture, but rather than, well, in a sense, it is the, oh, we're grossed out by this. It is still playing on how people are disgusted by these things and shocking them and just not caring.
Right. And it's not like a.
It's not
well,
purely for that purpose, but it still plays into that.
It's in a very like, you can you can try and run from this all you want and try to block it out or hide it and cover it up, but at some point you're going to have to face this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's up to you to decide how you interact with it and how you come to terms with this being a part of your world.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not going to go away,
Yeah. And that's what it's been about. Hold on, I'm just taking notes real quick.
Oh, absolutely. You're all good.
And I guess that's really the string of it all. Like, you look at something like Pink Flamingos and it's all this disgusting content and all this stuff that people can't stand to look at, and it gets banned. And it's, even though it's purposely made to be shock, it is still, well, these are things that exist in the world. Like, this is an exaggerated form of it, but we're still basing it off the things that exist in the world. And that's in the same vein of, we're queer and we don't stop existing just because you don't like it. These things don't stop existing because you don't like it. We don't stop existing because you don't like it. When I like a character for all the wrong reasons, and I go on a 2-hour explanation where I do a deep dive into everything in the story, I don't stop existing because you don't enjoy that or you think I'm cringe.
And also, like, it's that fucking post of like, it's not about who's the least problematic or the most problematic, it's about who's your favorite war criminal.
Yes, exactly.
But also, like, on that topic of, like, these disgusting things or things that people deem disgusting, like, yeah, they can gross you out, but that doesn't change the fact that they're there,
Exactly.
It's not going away. And that just makes me think of also, like, how many queer folk I know and that I'm friends with who are so into horror, like the horror genre, and how that's so, like, like, that's also like a part of it. There's so many elements of that as well that like cross over and hold hands.
Like, that's been part of what I've been look, that was one of the things I was considering while writing this. Was like I mentioned tragic comedy, I mentioned dramedy, but also horror plays into a lot of those. Like a lot of tragic comedy uh, ends up being horror themed
Right.
because like as I mentioned before, we've got Little Shop of Horrors, we've got Sweeney Todd. The other one I was looking at is Ravenous, which is one of my favorite films, and
Let's
it's
go.
uh, and even Devilman gets into the horror stuff eventually. But it's all these things playing in, and like that's yeah, like you say, a lot of queer people are super into horror for these. It's kind of that connection to it.
That connection, it's also the what's the word, like, that the portrayal and like metaphors for things,
Hmm.
where it's like in a good amount of horror, like the monsters or like whatever it is the characters face, like is a representative of like issues in society or like issues within themselves.
Like
um
Little Shop of Horror. I'm going to share this off the top because I think it's
I'll
interesting.
go
Like
off.
a few
Go
years
off.
ago, I saw a poster, well, a group of posters, and it was the morals of musicals. So you had like Into the Woods being Be Careful What You Wish For, etc., and then all the others. And for Little Shop of Horrors, all it said was Seymour's your friend, which I feel is like very correct, but also very downplaying what Little Shop of Horrors is about. Like, I think it is correct to say that, yes, Seymour is your friend in the fact that he is a person who has been. Society's just beating him down over and over again, and a chance at success, even if it is horrific means, can lead him down a dark path. But like you can look at Little Shop of Horrors in the wider scope of what it is saying about society that builds him up. I can't remember what the question was.
Wait, do you mean the question? What do you mean by the question?
I can't remember why I got on this topic.
It was about like finding queer expression and horror and like queer identification through horror, and also like I brought up how a lot of the things like the characters in horror media face is very often they could be a representative of like issues in society or issues within themselves, and like criticisms against themselves as well for who they are.
Yeah, you get where I was going then.
Yeah.
I was like, did I make my point? I don't know.
Take another sippy while I'm at it.
Yeah. How's everyone enjoying the podcast?
Welcome to our podcast.
Sorry, Nato couldn't make it.
But also the right, like to rewind a little bit, like we also had touched on the concept of the reason why I brought up horror is, the concept of like these really gross things that, people don't want to see or they're scared of, they want to hide away, and it's like, well, they're not going to go away no matter how much you don't want them to be there. And it's sort of like no, this
That
is
was
here.
us.
Like, look at it. I want you to look at it.
I feel like it's kind of been lost currently. As things have evolved, it's kind of been lost, but that was us. That's who we were. I mean, well, definitely still with trans people, but like for gay people, that's kind of been lost, the idea that like, no, this is relevant to they are horrified by us. We are the other thing.
Yeah. Man, I feel like John Carpenter with how I'm the thing. But no, like, yeah, like it's from that history of us as a whole, like in our community, being demonized and like dehumanized to a point where it's like where we can recognize ourselves more and identify more with the non-human and the incorporeal and the monstrous instead of like people.
Mhm.
Some of us, aren't comfortable with that and just want to be seen,
Yeah.
just as normal people, and that's fine. And there's also a lot of people who embrace that and find empowerment in that.
It's
It's like,
why there's kind of that discussion about the queer community versus the LGBT community. In that sense, like,
really,
there's kind of a discussion like, is queer the identity or the movement, and that I'd say like feeling that identity closer with being demonized and stuff falls more into that the kind of idea they're pushing as the queer community, and then wanting to assimilate is more of the LGBT community,
it's
where
the
it's you can opt out of having to be redacted words.
redacted.
Yeah.
Oh, like the corpo sanitized version of being queer.
Mhm.
It's the oh, we can commercialize this.
Yeah.
Oh, we can, you're sponsorable now. You're profitable now.
Mhm.
You're advertiser friendly. I'm saying some pretty Hi Jeff.
Hi, Jeff. But yeah,
Hi.
like in a nicer way, you can think of it like, oh, here's the LGBT community, and then there's the smaller community within that, which is I say within it. I'm going to upset some people and say like there are people who are not LGBT but are in the queer community for specific reasons, but like queer community is within
like
the LGBT community, so you can be in one but not the other.
I would also like to put scare codes around small
Yeah,
queer, because
small. We are small and unassuming. Do not fear us.
as opposed to precious small bean. More hot words. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. But no, that's also like a bit of a byproduct as well when we started seeing that distinction. Because I remember when that way back in the olden days, and by that I mean like what, several years ago, when that distinction started to happen, the diverging of those communities in a way, right? The discussion of like, should you say queer or not? Is that, let's move more towards this instead, and then the community was just becoming more and more splintered as it goes, right? And so like we're still kind of like with these two houses both alike in dignity. Where it's like, well, the difference is digestibility.
Yeah.
I think I wrote a little thing about that. Let me see if I can like find that and see maybe and you can absolutely pull from it as well. I give you full permission. Like if you find a nugget in what I'm trying to look for.
Is it anywhere online?
Yes, but
Perfect.
I don't think you can cite it.
Well, I need to cite it.
Because it's not quite scholarly.
Yeah, but I can cite it as like, oh, this person has this opinion.
Okay. Alright, let me see what I wrote.
Or like, here's a quote from a person, not an academic source.
It's about funny word.
Of course.
Here, I can quote it without saying it. I can also send you the link to the page if you prefer. I will.
Fantastic.
I forgot that I had that as the description for the website. That's really funny.
I'm kind of distracted by the URL and imagining putting that.
no, it's a few bullet points down. But yeah, like it's that's meant to be a statement. It's because like I do view it as a form of assimilation to kind of like completely cold turkey those terms and to suddenly treat them like, oh, they're sin, they're it's just like, well, that's what cis-hets want you to that's that's part of the thing, right? They
they want you
just like
to make them comfortable.
it's like you good with that, Spider-Man?
In the words of Homer Simpson, that was our word for making fun of you. We need it.
Like it's just like, it's like you really want them to be comfortable, like after like how many how many years of like oppression and like hate crime and being ostracized, like after all that, after all of the after fucking Stonewall, after all these movements, like, and at the end of it you want them to be comfortable, like why what have they done to deserve that?
And I don't know if it's like people aren't growing up with that the way, and I know even like we were not anywhere near that level, but like we still grew up with some level of it, and I'm wondering if maybe it's being lost. Like, not that that's a bad thing, but like the understanding of the context. And
I'd say absolutely so much of that the isms and the culture and behind these terms and behind these identities have I wouldn't
it's
say
assimilating the kids.
There's absolutely a loss, but I think a better a better word I'd like to use is like an atrophy, right? Is that it just without use it kind of like shrinks back, and then people don't know about it as much, and it's like, so when that does start getting use again, it's like oh god, what?
As I was going to say, it's assimilating the kids. So, and that way, us, the older people who there's no hope for, will eventually disappear.
Yeah.
But I say, it's an atrophy in the end. Same thing.
We're like, we're around the same age, right?
Yeah,
I don't remember if we're born in the same year or not. I'm not gonna dox my birth year.
I can't remember. We're either the same year or we're a year apart.
Yeah, more thereabouts. But no, I'd say like for us, where we are, like because we're straight up like part of a very transitional generation. And yes, technically, like, generations technically don't exist. It's for the sake of cultural context.
For
we're
cultural
a part
context,
of that transit.
Even if you divorce out of generation, the time period we grew up in was a transitional one. We had the introduction of the internet on, like, as an actual worldwide web. We had a lot of growing technology. We had a lot of changes in society.
We saw the transition from like analog to pure technology.
Like, it's still weird for like as a semi-young person still, when people say the kids are on their computers. I'm like, well, that can't be true because I wasn't.
Yeah, I was just like, I remember when like our family computer, this big dinosaur of a motherfucker, I didn't go on there like chronically. I was only on there to play like pinball and solitaire. Like at the end of the day, like, and that was it. Or I would go to the library.
I mean, it's weird for me because I was very much chronically online. Well, not online, but on the computer in some form. And but I was still okay. I'm going to go outside now. I'm going to go. I'm going to go drive my bike off the roof now. Bye.
I do want to say that. This was before like the internet was a stronghold like in society as a whole.
Well,
so
I had the difference of my dad worked in IT, so I had that access to. I will say I wasn't like on the internet at that age, or if I was, it was like very simple children's game sites.
Yeah, for me with my family, it was like we absolutely had hardware but not software. So like very default. Um, I my idea of a great time on the computer was fucking around with word art, which
Oh,
honestly is
word art,
still really
word
fucking
art,
fun.
paint. I, I will
Uh,
say I had like games, the educational gaming.
um, but no, yeah, like yeah, I agree with you. I still like went outside. I still like hung out with people offline and was like, oh yeah, like let's go, let's go to
Do
the
something
beach or
stupid.
let's go to the yeah. Um, let's do dumb kid shit. Let's like eat rocks.
I was like, I'm going to paint the wall with a spoon today.
I'm going to feed wild animals until they hurt me. But no, yeah, like we were in that transitional period, so it's just so like strange for us. And to circle it back to the queer movement and shit like that, where it's like because we were a part of that transitional you know generation, for semantics and shit. Um, that meant that we had the tail end of of those movements.
Yep.
We grew up with the tail end of that, but also we grew up with the transition of like people starting to push more in media and having and seeing that development of the corpo assimilation. um and that's not to say like, oh, it's all bad, because like absolutely the strides made in mainstream media in terms of like seeing queer people on stream
Stream.
to say on screen. No, the internet has rotted my brain. But oh boy. Machine, I bet you're feeling pretty Monka S right now. But no, like, uh, we saw that, and yeah, it's not inherently all bad, but because the strides made in actually being able to see queer people in media, mainstream media, like, and not being seen as like inherently evil or bad or dehumanized and all that shit. That's great, because representation is always important, but it did come with that byproduct of, oh well, now that means we have the opportunity to be sanitized.
Sorry, I'm kind of just like I'm doing the thing. You said one thing, so I now need to latch on to it. But part of the notes I have wrote down for the steps I'm doing this is gay tragedy pulp fiction, which was a staple for me growing up because I didn't have wide access to queer literature in any form. So
Right.
like it wasn't something well, it was like I'm not getting to go to the library to check out to go up to the librarian and go, hey, where's the gay books at? Like I didn't have that option in my life. And I would have doubted that they even had any. I still doubt they ever did. So I was getting like free ebooks. This was back when the Kindle was first introduced. So I was able to get
Oh
free
man.
ebooks from people writing very questionable queer literature. But it was the only thing I had access to because I was a young teen with no money. So,
Right. Like that's what was accessible for you.
but like, of course, because of when this was, some of the big things that permeated that was memories of the AIDS crisis and that kind of
Yeah.
being gay is a tragedy and you're going to suffer, and like this has had a massive impact on me for reading. Every so often, I'm not going to name the book, but there is a book that was popular on TikTok for a couple years that was basically the same thing. And it's like I read so many of these pulp fiction tragedy stories that I know every plot beat like the back of my hand. And I hate them so much. It's like
It's formula.
it's formula, and like I understand the importance of those stories. They're important, they have a place, but there is definitely the word is tragedy porn. That's what these
Yeah.
books were, and it's kind of that thing that like it kept a certain vein in how queer people were perceived. Like
to be
you're the sinner being punished.
yeah, it's just like, oh, like the pity, oh, the
If
and
only
it's like,
you had kept looking at the girl your parents wanted you to marry.
yeah, if only you didn't choose this.
Mhm,
And it's like, we get it.
mhm.
Can we be happy?
Can we be
Maybe. Can
happy?
we like enjoy ourselves
Mhm.
just a little? The answer is no, but that's not going to stop us from trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you.
And also because this is also the thing that because these were like free books, it was like number one in a series. And then the
Oh my
next few
god.
you had to buy, and it's like I didn't have money to buy them, so it's like I have no idea if any of those characters ever had a happy ending. They all ended up in a gas station.
It'll be like that other book. They'll turn into gas pumps. Going to take a different turn now. I think that should be a punishment. Like if you're just gonna end up writing like, like tragedy
Anamorph your
porn.
character.
You know what? Like it would be a better ending to just turn them all into gas pumps.
Yeah.
Also, the queer coding of Animorphs. I'm not gonna get super into that right now because that's gonna go into a whole big tangent. But also, like, Miss Applegate just like, she's. I love that
Mhm.
because I remember people writing into her and being like, "Yo, Tobias is like so trans. He's so transcoded," and she's like, "Fuck yeah, go for it. Love that for you."
That's what we love to see. Also, I've just realized the music stopped.
Oh, I am your music now. I'm.
Starts beatboxing.
Am I your angel of music?
Let me just...
Machine, I'm dying. Please stop beatboxing. Also, like to also like tie it back with the uh or not tie it back, but to like kind of rewind a bit on the concept of like there's so because of like the time that we grew up in, like there's that period of queer media just being like all tragedy and like sad shit, in wake of that. I know that like part of it is absolutely valid because it definitely was part of the mourning process, the collective mourning process of our community.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, there came people wanting to monopolize on that and be like,
And like I said, specifically the books I read, it was you got a free one, then you had to pay for the rest, and a lot of those will have just been trying to monopolize on that, like trying to make the most money on this new platform, using this tragedy.
and that's just fucking scummy.
Yeah.
And it's like no, like we shouldn't have to give you that. You don't get to take that from us. Like we can have our period of mourning, but also we can have our period of recovery, and we deserve to thrive after that,
Yeah, exactly.
So like fuck you, like we're you don't get to decide how we handle that and how we come back from that. Yeah, there absolutely is. Sorry, I'm like rewinding to different parts, and I think because I'm like a yo-yo, I'm like snapping back to like previous points. That like, yeah, like what was it? You had said something about how, because you had touched upon the AIDS crisis, and like before that, it was the like how we grew up like on the tail end of how society and culture was at that time. Oh yeah, and the atrophy of like acknowledging the history and culture behind these movements and these ways of self-expression. And I'm seeing it, and I don't want to sound like like a grumpy old man yelling. Old man yells at cloud.
I think that's what
like,
this entire podcast has been.
but like I see this I've seen this on TikTok like a significant amount of times where there are these younger queer folk who are like, it's you should not use these terms for yourself because, you know, oh, this is outdated, it's problematic now. And but these are elder, not even like, you know, a lot of
People
these were
our
elder
age.
queer folk, and it's just like they survived through so fucking much. Like, I think they know how to, like, what to call themselves. Like,
Mhm.
let them just be, you know?
I mean, complete tangent, piggybacking off that, but okay, I am going to be very big because I don't want to give this person away, but I know someone who, like, is around their 30s now, and, like, since they were a teenager, they identified as one thing, and then in their 30s, they were suddenly hit with, oh, I'm I'm actually attracted to other people as well. And
Mhm.
they had young people telling them, oh, so you're bi or you're pan, etc., etc. And it's like, and they're like, I'm not comfortable with that. And it's built on, like, they had, like, that's the thing, you've had your community for the past, say, 20 years, and now you're being told, oh, you're not part of that community, you have to move because I say so. You're not allowed to
Right, it's like
identify with that term anymore
you
because I say so.
right, like you have to choose or you have to change or else you're a traitor.
Hmm.
And it's just like, yo, like, right, first of all, calm down. Like, all right, filing cabinet, like,
Yeah.
okay, like literally it's just like that's so square core. Why do
Exactly.
you have to choose? Like, leave it up to the person to decide, like, is this comfortable for them? Does it feel right
Like,
to refer
even
to
if
themselves
it's
as that?
the more correct term for them, and even if you're like, oh, hey, oh, there's, even if you say, like, there's biphobia in it, and I'm not saying there isn't, like, that's not my place, but, like, they have a built community that has given them purpose and comfort for the past 20 years, and being told they're not allowed to be part of that community, that is going to be traumatic. So, quite frankly, if they are not comfortable with that, it's not necessary. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Like, if it doesn't involve you, if it doesn't like hurt you directly, like if it doesn't affect you, like just leave them be, let them figure it out.
Oh. It's like
They are their own person.
they're not actively hurting anyone, so just leave them. You don't
Also,
need to cause them deep trauma.
I just noticed you gave me a shout out.
Yeah, it was when you said on stream.
Oh, wow, thanks. I'm too far gone. I'm forever virtual.
We can't come back now. We talked about transitional media.
Yes. Oh, I hear parrots outside. I hear birds outside. I'm pretty sure it's parrots.
Oh, gamers.
Yeah, our new place. Yes. They want in on the conversation. They sound like parrots because there's no other bird where I am that sounds like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're completely unrelated. They're like, I'm a birder. They're kind of my white whale because I always hear them, but I can never actually see them. So I can't because, you know, parrots love to mimic and they can sound very alike. Different species can sound very alike. I can't properly ID them until I look at them. So like I hear them outside and I'm like, one day. But no, what were you saying? Right. But no, yeah. It's just like, it's honestly just like sad. Because it's like, I know that there's common ground. And that's not just like me being like altruistic main character team and being like, I believe it! The power of friendship! But no, like there is like very obviously common ground here. It's just like, and common enemies. And it's like, why are we picking at each other like this, you know? Why the infighting? This head propaganda is working.
Yeah.
They want us to fight amongst ourselves so we don't fight them.
Yep. Y'all, it's
Also,
very
Rogue says
purposeful.
hi.
Hi, Rogue. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. But yeah, it's like
Uh,
they purposely want us to fight each other so we don't fight the bigger cause.
it's yeah, that is like a very big point. It's literally division, and like I mentioned earlier, the splintering of the community out as a
Yeah.
whole. And like there's been an exponential explosion of identity types and subtypes in the past decade, and that's been amazing. Not just because like I have linguist brain, but also I have queer brain, so it's like that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And like it just goes to show like how much of a spectrum like queer identity is. It can be literally whatever the fuck, and that is just fine. Again, as long as you're not hurting someone. But I think also it's like people are kind of like trying to use that as leverage in a way to be like, oh, don't say these older terms, use this instead. And you're wrong if you use that. And it's just like that feels counterproductive.
Yeah. It's like we can have both, right?
Yeah. And like I will be real, like I used to be that person when I was younger of like, wait, why are we, well, don't use that, don't say that. And I think part of the reason for that was because this is when I was in high school and we were in history class, and the teacher started to touch up on like, does anyone know anything about Stonewall? And me being the queerest person in the room at the time, aside from the teacher who's an old cis gay man, and I don't mean to slight his age. I'm just saying, when I mean old, I mean like of the older cultural generation. But yeah, besides him being the queer student in the room at the time, I like popped off and I kind of info dumped a little bit because I read up on a lot of.
Because you were definitely not neurodivergent in any way.
Because I'm so normal right now. And he went on and he was like, yeah, you're correct, all these things happened, and he started like retelling like kind of summarizing like what happened, and ended up saying what can be considered a slur nowadays. And at the time I was like blindsided. I felt flashbanged, and like back then I was a teenager and I was just like, why are you using a slur? Oh my god, you can't say that now. And the thing is that nowadays I'm just like, I'm more mellowed out about it, where it's just like that's just simply the word that was used back then, and because he's of that older generation, like that probably would come more natural to him. I still have an issue with it purely because everyone else in all the other students in the classroom were cishet, or for the most part are cishet at the time, and I guess my only thing
Was
of
it
like
they'd
why I
start
would
using it?
disapprove is that it's like don't say that if there's a chance it can be normalized for the wrong reasons. I think that's still my only concern, is just like, it's still not okay purely because there were a lot of there was a lot of casual homophobia and transphobia at that school, and so like let's not encourage that. But I know like now I know like from his tone it was just purely from an academic like as is objective, like this is what they identified as at the time, this is how they self-identified, and it could also possibly be him of like being like, well, I don't want to misquote those folks who are a part of the movement and use this word to define themselves. And like that's just like the perspective that like to help shift my perspective on that. So like kind of like I having been on both sides of the fence, I can see everything, but also, oh god, I can see everything. Rogue can hear podcast.
Yep, Rogue's now on the
Also-
podcast. Hello, Rogue. Oh, and thank you,
Also-
Worm.
Yeah, we've been, we've been flapping our yaps for a good while, so feel free to moisturize everything involved.
Big stretches.
I can't fully. I would join you, but I can't fully stretch because of my. I am tethered to the wall. I'm still charging my headset.
Ah, not charging yourself. Yeah,
Exactly.
but us natural podcasters over here somehow end up streamers.
The male urge to start a podcast.
Yeah, we are not immune. Every single time it keeps happening.
Homestuck moment. It keeps happening. I warned you about the cast, bro. I told you, dog.
Oh, since you did the full self-care check, I'm going to refill my water bottle.
Haha, you got it. Excellent. Oh no! Wow.
A worthy sacrifice.
Well, you got it. You got it. That's
I
amazing.
got it. I did it.
F in the chat for Yanfei, who died face planting the rock. Good luck. Have fun. Don't die.
English is fun. Let experimenting your English skills.
Have you decided to tread the path of strife?
Yes. Come to me.
Very well. Let us proceed with our contract at once.
And
I am thou. Thou art I. You have finally found your own justice. Please, never lose sight of it again. This memorable day marks your graduation from your false self.
shit. Darn it. Why aren't you a motorbike? I'm just going to have to upload this VoD and title it Accidental Podcast.
Accidentally podcast. Oh my god, I just got sent the Doraemon post. Hell yes.
Okay, I'm going to touch on some of the other stuff for the
Oh,
other
yeah.
sections that I have for this.
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I mentioned how I came to reading these tragic pulp fiction things, but the other thing that was free on Amazon Kindle at that point was classics and anything in the public domain. Primarily, the one I picked up was Shakespeare.
Oh boy.
And you want to go into query, finding something queer to read at that point. And where do I end up? It's all theatre maybe. But hey, first off, how's your Shakespeare as theatre child?
I remember discovering. So we did a mini production of the one play. No, we did a mini production in
Specify.
elementary school. It was actually really cute. Sorry, you cut out.
we can do the voice specify.
I can't.
Yeah,
I'm overly paranoid. I would have to censor
oh,
it.
of course, okay.
But no, so it was
The
that
one that's relevant to the
and...
tags in my...
and I vividly remembered discovering about those slotting prop knives for the first time, and that being briefly traumatized because I was thoroughly convinced at the time that it was that our drama teacher just stabbed themselves like in the middle of the classroom for all to see. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, no, it just like slides back into the handle. It's fine." And then I was just like, I got clickbaited, deceived. But no, yeah, my memories are very, very faint. Like any Shakespearean works, they're very faint, but you know, they're there.
Well, I had the misfortune of turning into that child that would sit and read Shakespeare in their free time. But like specifically the one that is still my favourite Shakespeare play is Twelfth Night. And wow, nothing standing out about this child.
You're just like, I'm being so normal right now.
I'm being so normal. Definitely no correlation between the fact that Twelfth Night is not like one of the most prominent Shakespeare plays and the fact that it's the one I've latched on to.
Hell yeah. We had some number theory in this.
Damn, the number theory real. And I mean, on some social media sites, I still have a reference to 12th Night somewhere in my bio. But, you know, like, very, very queer experience of analysing Shakespeare work and connecting dots. And I actually got into uni because part of how I got into uni, I don't understand the rest of it because my uni was like, hey, once you send in your application, you then have an interview and you've got to send in a portfolio. They never called me. They never called me. I never got interviewed. They never asked for my portfolio. I don't know how I got into uni. But part of when I was doing the course before I went into uni, I kind of went off to the teacher just talking about like the relationship between Antonio and Sebastian across multiple Shakespeare plays. Because there's multiple Shakespeare plays where Antonio and Sebastian both appear and they are in some way entangled.
Oh, you know.
Oh, you know. Nothing suspicious over here.
Oh, you know, soulmates AU.
Very mad at you for the fact you're suddenly leaving me because a rich girl offered you a lot of money to marry her. I'm being so normal right now.
We are here for it. We love that for you.
But yeah, then that filters into. Obviously, Shakespeare's going to go into like tragicomedy and dramedy. And hey, want to hear about Kamen Rider Fies?
Here's the thing. I've been holding on to the tokusatsu nugget since fucking stream started, and I was just like, do I bring this up now or do I wait?
Oh, we go on.
How long will it be until tokusatsu
2 hours 40 minutes.
It's now been 0 hours 0 minutes since we last talked about Toku.
Alright, but I want to finish off my Fies thought because people will complain about Inoue's writing. The thing about Inoue's writing is it is pure Shakespearean comedy. Like, did you watch Fies? I know you haven't watched Fies recently, but you might have as a kid.
I know that I tuned in a few Fies streams of yours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Fies is basically like Midsummer Night's Dream level of romantic disaster. Mixed with the like extremely serious drama, as you have seen. But it's that Inoue's writing Shakespeare is very Shakespearean how it's played. A lot of people don't like it for that, but being terrible theatre child that I am, who had very limited media, I'm like, oh,
neuron activity.
Neural activity is happening. But like, one of my friends is watching Dawn Brothers and was talking about how Inoue's writing is very queer and how it is handled. And I just find it interesting how we can link the threads all connect here.
The conspiracy board. I connected the dots. But even like, absolutely, like the influence of the, you know, of drama and Shakespeare core in the writing of Five, but like just the genre, the tokusatsu genre as a whole, and how, yes, even though like it's very, I guess, like to the collective cishet eye, it's just like, oh, another, you know, toy marketing franchise mainly geared towards young boys, and it's like, well, if you look closer, well, if you watch any of it, well, yes, that is a bit of a kernel of truth. There's also like, I will be stealing this away. I feel like there's like an inherent queerness about tokusatsu as a genre entirely, and whether or not they meant it, I am taking that and running as fast as I can. I literally, again, like, you know, that similarity in YTP editing and multimedia editing, it's like you're taking some, like, it's you're literally transing a gender. You know, like that's such a very common theme, whether you like it or not. Like, you know, on very surface level, there's the, you know, this person becomes stronger after experiencing a transformation. It is just like, wow, wow.
Wow.
I wonder where that happens in real life.
Devilman fans sweating.
But literally, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, but hold on. I'm being so brave about the fact that my tummy is starting to hurt.
Oh dear.
I will be okay. I just, this is my first time in a very long time having an energy drink. So it's just like, oh, chemicals, and I'm like, yes, chemicals. But no, yeah, like, there's inherent queerness in there, whether writers and producers like it or not. You know, and how camp everything can be. I always, like, here's the thing that was actually really funny, is that like the theater kid side of me, like growing up watching, you know, tokusatsu and seeing how camp shit can be, is like the theater kid part of me is like, oh fuck yeah, that is so great, I love that. And, you know, going into queer expression, I'm like, yes, like that rules. But also, like, the one specific flavor of neurodivergency side of my brain is like, why? The secondhand embarrassment, people are watching. But then again, like the drama kid side is like, yes, people are watching.
They better. People are watching. They better be.
Yeah, I sure hope they are.
I ain't doing it a second time.
Unless if someone calls for an encore. But no, yeah, like tokusatsu as a whole, like, is very absolutely like queercore in that it's just prevalent. Oh my god, in so many of the themes. And I should also unchap my lips, I just realized. And how that goes, that absolutely ties in with spectacle and finding strength in, like, just being gaudy as fuck and over the top, and everyone has to look. Everyone has to stop and look at your 30-second transformation sequence.
In this day and age, it's kind of up to 2 minutes.
Good. Even
Good.
better.
Get louder, boy. Tokiwa Sogo, I love you. 2-minute transformation sequence, and you're gay.
Gay, homosexual, it's homosexual, gay. Oh great, now I'm thinking of Was Pie, of the Was Pie AMV.
It's the anniversary. It was anniversary yesterday, so I was thinking about it.
Good. Oh, that is something you could also pull in terms of like influences.
Was pie.
Oh god, I meant Toku, but Was Pie. I guess Was Pie as well. You could just link your lecturer the AMV.
Hey, lecturer, what do you think of this? And then it ties into spectacle and things that make people uncomfortable but forcing them to.
That's the yaoi cocaine.
I said in my my essay, but it's literally just past the alley cocaine.
Fuck yeah. Oh man, if this I'm on it. This is actually like this is actually such a huge loss for the for queer history, for modern internet
Diversity
queer history
loses.
is the fact that the Semeuke quiz I
know.
pour one out.
I know it's going now, but I feel like the major loss came when they switched to the picture of the plastic dolls instead of the art. Just saying.
Oh yeah, you know
What
what?
takes?
I fully agree. I feel like was that something to do with like copyright or something?
It might have
Like
been, but I
the-
feel
oh,
like the
like
pictures
maybe
they
like
used
the
weren't
artist-
copyrighted. I felt
or
like
like
it was
whoever like the artist was, maybe it was like, hey, take that down. I don't know.
Maybe it was. I felt like the art was made for the website, but potentially maybe the artist split from the website and was like, "Hey, you don't have the right to my art anymore."
Yeah, and maybe and also I feel like the dolls were a way for, because I have a feeling, you know, like whoever was running it like owned the dolls, and
Uh-huh.
you know they were posable. I can't say much more than that, but they were posable.
As Toku
So-
fans,
Me immediately thinks of my little laser bike. He is posable and has wheels.
Toku fans know what people will do when they're handy.
I still have that fix somewhere saved.
If you can't find it, I'll send it to you.
Ah, thank you for restoring history.
We could not have that be lost.
No, literally, that is unironically so good. Oh my god. But no, yeah, like I had a point and then I lost it.
Toku just puts us through it.
Oh, absolutely. Both affectionate and derogatory.
Yeah. And I mean, I mentioned Sogon. Let's go into the fact that, hey, I guess we've got a canonically queer. We've had a canonically queer primary Kamen Rider.
Let's go!
Like, it's somehow people still try to dispute it, but like pretty clear.
Yeah, it's. We'll just like to look the other way, and also that's another thing too. If there's any opportunity for like, if there's any room for ambiguity, people will, or vagueness, people will like to jump on that and be like,
Yeah.
oh, you know,
Like,
this person isn't queer.
I'll admit I've been guilty of that in the past, very specifically when people are like, this is the first ever queer character in whatever. And it's like, no. It's like there have been so many before this.
I think like there is a difference.
I
though,
will
to
say
when-
that was like specifically stuff like first queer character in film genre. or something. Like when it was very vast, not when it was like the first queer character in, I don't know, Adventure Time or whatever.
Yeah. I do feel like there is also a difference. Damn it. Sorry, there's like traffic outside that's like fucking.
Yeah, I distracted you from your point anyway.
I may mute on and off just purely because of the traffic outside, but anyways, yeah, I feel like that is just a thing that happens where if there's any bit of ambiguity, people will use that as reason to be like, oh, this is why this person isn't queer. It's because, well, no one said that they were, so that means that they are, and it's just like,
I don't know, but they kind of was given the opportunity to rewrite the universe. I'm like, cool, I want this boy to have a crush on me, and he's going to
literally,
he's going to give me love letters, and it like I know he didn't get a chance to respond to that. He was very happy to receive it. Like so ambiguous.
And the thing is that you can be so obvious, like you can also have like characters who are so obviously queer, but people will still be like, I will look the other direction, or actually, and it's like, it's not for you.
You put those glasses back on and face the truth.
Exactly, yeah. Because I recently, oh boy, it's my time to be perfectly normal. Like, I think about this specifically with Apex, where, like, because I feel like it was, like, I don't know if I should call it an oversight, like, because Respawn has been very, very conscious about, like, how they write their characters.
I need to interrupt you very quickly because I need to correct myself. I'm sorry, Ichimonji Hayato, who came in the first episode and went, I'm not into girls, and then it cut to commercials. I'm so sorry. People have argued with me that he was straight, they are wrong. Okay, continue.
I'm so sorry, baby girl. But no, yeah, like, you're all good. But, like, I wouldn't call it an oversight because Respawn has been showing that they are very conscious and mindful about how they write their characters. I would say it's just an unfortunate circumstance because they have Bloodhound, that a character who has been there since the beginning. They are non-binary, and they just happen to have this lore and backstory where there's a lot of mystery around like who they are and like their identity, where they come from.
So people have gone, oh, there's a mystery. So they're so they have binary? Mystery binary?
Yeah. It's just like, well, if they could be anyone, they could be cis or they could be binary, and it's just like, no, like, you're like, don't fucking do that. You're being a transphobe. And like, yeah, I'd just say it's just unfortunate circumstance because it's just like, this is just a non-binary character who happens to have this flavor of lore, but it makes sense within the universe, and it doesn't feel like this is a cop-out, this is pandering, this is us doing the bare minimum, because since the beginning, Respawn has been writing queer characters. Gibraltar has also been there from the beginning and is canonically gay. Fucking Bangalore, is sapphic canonically since the beginning. Like, I could go through the entire roster, but I'm not going to do that right now because I will be absolutely very normal about it.
Unlike other FPSs who took 2 years.
And, like, shoved it away in a tiny little comic that you had to, like, round around to get the info for. Like, no, like, you go onto the main page on the website. If you read, for example, if you read up on Gibraltar's backstory and lore, he's like, they say, oh, like, he's very protective of people and like wants to protect them because he and his boyfriend got into a motorcycle accident, and since then he's like, I want to help people. Like, I don't want people getting hurt. And I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense. And also, yeah, he's queer. That's it, And fucking, like, unfortunately, people have been like using that mystery person lore reason to be transphobic about Bloodhound or to unnecessarily gender them. And very, very recently, like, they made Fusehound real. Fusehound is the canon ship now, and so Fuse is canonically Pan, and they, in a little animated short, they literally like they went out on a hunt together. They had this like fucking heart to heart, like yelling at each other, like honestly very very Toku core, like like yelling their feelings at each other while like killing a giant fucking monster.
The
And
prepared
they,
romance.
of course, and they fucking kissed, and I'm like, it real. And here's the thing, Respawn is, and this is why like Respawn has my utmost respect right now. They are not hiding that. They are making it so fucking obvious that they are a thing now, because they rolled out a patch in the game for the new season where if you're on a team and there's if there's two players on your team that are playing as Fuse and Bloodhound, they will flirt with each other on the battlefield. They will interact with each other romantically on the battlefield. They will talk about slapping each other's asses on the battlefield.
Wow.
And I'm
Romance
just
real.
like, love wins.
Unironic.
This is so like, no,
Yeah,
like
love ones,
actually,
like very genuine.
this is so. I'm like, this is, and this, mind you, this is in the same season where they dropped a canonically openly trans character.
Hmm.
I mean, okay, Bloodhound is also trans. It wordisms. It depends.
There's a
Some
new
people
one. They added another one.
new trans person just dropped, but specifically like
Where are they dropping?
was it what were you dropping? Canon trans woman. There we go. And I read this in an article where they interviewed folks from Respawn about this, and they said that they tried their damnedest to be very, very purposeful and mindful about it. They consulted, not just like trans people who actually worked at Respawn, but GLAD representatives. So it wasn't just like a token, like, oh, we have one trans employee that we consulted for everything and they're the authority. No, it's multiple, and also people from outside the company, and also the VA for Catalyst, who's the new trans character. The VA for Catalyst is also trans. Like, she's also a trans woman. So like, you have multiple people from the community like building this character, putting her together, and so she's very, very grounded and very realistic and very like, it's honestly so refreshing. And they in the interview, Respawn said like they wanted to have her be unavoidably trans. Like, so there's no ambiguity, there's no vagueness. You can't hide behind any of that and say, oh, she's not trans because blah, blah, blah. No, they're putting it everywhere as much as they can, that no, this, she's a trans woman. She is proud of who she is. She's going to destroy you. And I'm pretty sure, like, in one of her Ready animation lines, she straight up references HRT, and I'm like,
You go, girl.
And like, also like, this is how I know like Respawn is very committed to being in tune about like open queerness, like in their characters. Like, she is a goth gay trans witch.
Yep,
like,
that's same.
I'm like, yep, absolutely, yes. Like, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm like, you wanna give her a tech support job, or?
Well, actually, she's an engineer.
Well,
she's a terraformer. But no, like, they actually do like reference her as a techno witch. So like, already yes. And like, that goes into the themes that like we've been discussing of, yes, we're here, we're existing. Like, you can't hide us. Like, we're here. You can't like rewrite us. Oh my god, that was really hard for me to say. Also, I'm really sorry. I just saw your message, Rogue. Gay, huh? Wait, there is an NB phobe at your old job? T, hello?
T on podcast?
Real? The one who won. Oh no! Wait, yeah! I met that person. Oh, the rich person! I remember. I remember them. But no, yeah, like there's been that's also something Respawn said too, where it's like there are way too many like queer stories in media where it's a tragedy and where it's like painful, and they're in this process of suffering and tragedy, and like they were like, we didn't want to do that. We wanted to have someone who is on the other side, who made it through the other side, and who is thriving, because it's like we're allowed to be happy, and we're allowed to thrive, and we're allowed to exist and be proud of who we are.
But you can have a go. But get to be loud, get to be seen.
Yeah. Also, as soon as she dropped, I immediately unlocked her. I got her like some nice fancy new cosmetics. I decked up my like cosmetics and banners for her, and I immediately unlocked this voice line for her. There's straight up a voice line where she says, "I am the grim trans witch your parents warned you about."
They sure got the perfect line.
No, she is just like chef's kiss, and like so many like references, but it doesn't feel like overkill. It just feels so like, it's just like, oh, we've been waiting for this, what was it, like one of her lines as well is one of her ready lines is if you can't make your own liquid metals, store-bought is fine. Because she specifically works with ferrofluid, and she'll be like, oh, like this is my magic brew, or one of her lines also is like, anything they don't understand they call magic, and I'm like,
true.
Yeah, that's flavor. She's like she's just like, she's absolutely seasoned to perfection.
Y'all nailed this one.
Oh, absolutely. Also, I will be trying to get hired at Respawn so they can make a trans mass character.
You can put me in as your reference. I've
Hell
worked with
yeah.
you. You were on my podcast.
I'm on a podcast. I am so transgender.
First point for you, their new trans mass character must be on podcast by accident.
God. Also, ugh. Cis people. Sorry, I was just like catching up on Rogue's anecdote. Wow, cis people love to doubt trans people, huh?
Kill, bite, rain, slaughter, devour your enemies.
Where is your rage? Rise, rise, rise! Ooh, hell is a place on earth.
I'm not like, do I try and put Toku in here, or is it too cringe?
I'm going to steal an ancient proverb. Kill the you that cringes.
Correct response. I was already writing it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, what is tokusatsu if we don't acknowledge two major things, which is one, Hibiki, the start of Hibiki is musical. It is they do an entire musical number at the start of Hibiki. And also, Decade the musical exists. And then we can get into the Exade soundtrack.
You've done it. Oh, you've done it now.
Wow, I have to end stream before we get copyright stricken. I'm about to hear a live
I'm
prediction of
gonna
people game.
explode. Oh, so I will be skewering that person, Rogue.
Yeah, please do.
It sucks that I'm not like a traditional dragon, because then I'd be like, fire breath, barbecue people. No, I'm stuck here, and I'm like, delete system 32.
That's just about enough of you delete your system 32.
Crap. I just totally forgot what I was gonna say. Oh right, you brought up X8 and then I like imploded.
Yeah, I killed you on impact.
But also about how how X8 starts off like absolutely just so camp. And it almost feels like an initiation process, right? Because a lot of people are like, can't get through the camp.
X8 is like a really hard one on the campness for right at the start.
Mm-hmm.
And then X8.
And then X8, and then once you get through that, it's like, all right, you're in. Now we can absolutely destroy
Give me
you.
your bike.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You still get camp in that episode, and
Oh,
so it
that-
gives you like it
It gives you the mid-whiplash.
the most fucking whiplash.
The only thing outdoing that whiplash is like the entirety of Aberanger.
Oh my god, yeah.
Something wrong with that show. Hey, Shout Factory, can you sponsor me so I can tell the stream something?
That boy ain't right. That boy needs therapy.
Oh, that boy do.
But oh my god, but that also feels very like paralleling about like how hard it is to get into at first with how like strong the camp is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
then
like a
again,
very like,
oh, this boy got so much depression.
well, this boy's system. this boy got
This
ulcers.
boy got boys.
Boyception.
Oh, this boy's had his boy surgically removed.
Oh, he's been neutered. No.
But I always say, like,
No,
despite, like, okay, I'm actually going to give Fize a break here and go to Kiva, because a lot of people will write off Kiva so quick for how camp it is. And
Really?
Kiva is... I'm sorry, y'all, I am not kidding when I say Kiva is so good. I love Kiva so much.
I really want to watch Kiva. Like,
We're watching
looking
Kiva
at
after
it,
this. We're ending stream.
like I have like I had a Kiva mutual TM,
Mm-hmm.
and like hearing him like talk about it and go off on it, and I'm just like, holy fuck! Like I was already interested, but
Mhm.
like, you're just selling it more for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like,
And
Kiva
also-
is... It's the same with Shanzarian. Like, okay, of course, Kiva is basically Shanzarian too, we can get into that. But, like, it is so loud and camp, and it's so in your face, and then it gets the really strong emotional moments, which are also really... But it never loses that comedy held to it, and the absolute over-the-topness that is the entire series, and it's like I say, a lot of people write off Kiva and like, oh, it's bad, it's such and such, but like if you actually, and you can do this with pretty much any of Inoue's work, you can strip it back and you will find he's really good at writing. Like, in terms of writing style and conventions and everything working together, he is fantastic. I will go into Vice actually, because like one of the things in Vice,
Yeah, no, please, absolutely go off.
one of the things in Vice is like you look at Takun, and it's like, oh well, a lot of people complain in Vice that the characters don't talk to each other. of like, oh, if they just talk to each other, everything would be solved instantly. And like, yeah, but it's very quickly established that the first thing Takumi is doing in the series is he's heading back to, I can't remember if I set in Tokyo or not, but I'll just say Tokyo. He's headed back because his old job fired him because someone stole from the register and blamed him. And despite the fact that the owner was like, I know he didn't do it, he just went, actually, no, I totally did do it. Just fire me. Because he didn't want to deal with the confrontation of having to defend himself. He just took it instead and walked away. And he's coming back to be like, hey, here's the money that I stole. Despite his boss being like, I know you didn't steal it. But it's like, it's well established Takumi is not willing to deal with any confrontation other than, like, with his fists. And even then, he's only willing to do that because he gets sick bike for it. And then you have, like, Yuji, and Yuji was in a coma for a year, and he woke up, and his girlfriend was dating his cousin, and his uncle was like, I wish Yuji had just died so that we could get the inheritance that he was owed. And like, that's the people who were closest to him and the people he cared about and he thought cared about him, and he's now learning no, they don't. And he's now in a new situation, and he can't immediately start trusting people again in the same way. So if someone comes to him and says, hey, such and such is saying such and such thing behind your back, he's going to go, oh, maybe they are. I can't talk to them about that because that would be weird. So that's two of the characters. They're never going to be able to clearly communicate because they both have these existing issues that they're not going. Well, they will eventually work through, but for a good part of it, they're not going to, because that's just what their character is set up to be. And also, I think the entire thing of, hey, characters should just talk to each other is stupid, and you're bad at storytelling.
Literally, it's like you're here to see a story. You're here to see someone else like show the story.
Mm-hmm. And it's like you've been given characters that are going to. They've been given a full character so that they're going to act in a specific way. They're not going to treat every conversation they have like a therapy session. They're going to act like people and go and jump to conclusions and make bad decisions.
Yeah, it's like, well, you're looking at it from the outside as someone who's not a part of the situation. That's why you can go, well, why don't you just talk? Because you're removed from the situation.
Uh-huh.
You're not in that perspective right now.
And that's one of the things, you need to look at it from how they're seeing it and go, oh, it's not that easy.
Would it kill you to suspend your belief?
Please, I am begging you. And you get I will say Kiva is very funny for the fact that it's like, why don't they just talk to each other? It's like, one of the characters early on asks Wataru if he knows where Kiva went, and Wataru just points to himself, like, at me. And they're like, very funny, okay. And it just moves on. And then we get like 30 episodes of no one knowing who Kiva is.
Yeah, I wonder who that's for.
It's like, I told you.
Also, if I ever like pause, if I'm quiet for a bit, I'm still here. I'm also just trying to figure out funny reptile.
Yeah, no worries. Anyway, I'm just going to say O's and see what happens.
O's grip. O's grip. Blasts off into the stratosphere.
I mean, you can talk about O's in terms of camp. And the absolute juxtaposition of the stuff in that show.
So how do you feel about ska?
Also, the Shio scene just came up on my dash. Speaking of, his masterwork. But yeah, that's like,
the exploration of camp and gender in O's, though.
Oh yeah.
The greed.
Beautiful. We love it.
King is a gender here.
But you look at O's, and it's like, I have this weird experience of O's. Like, I do forget the funny elements of O's whenever I'm thinking about it. I think a lot of us do that because O's is such a strong drama that like you do kind of, then you rewatch it and you see all the comedy.
You kind of get absorbed in the in the gay wedding.
Yeah, you kind of get absorbed in the gay wedding and you forget that Eiji's got his pants in his pocket the entire time.
Always. Tomorrow's underwear.
His money
He's
is
the
wrapped up
undies
in it.
guy. If it's not in his pocket, he's fucking hoying it up on his stick.
On a stick, yeah. In case you forgot about it, which you did.
By the way, I think it's also something, again, like you kind of just get used to or you forget about until I specifically remember like the fucking crossover scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And others just being like, that's fucking weird.
You watched Shio, didn't you?
I did, but I don't have like I did watch Zio, and I don't remember how much I watched of it.
Alright, very late in the show, they introduce, they bring back Kamen Rider Aqua from everyone's favourite character from O's, Kamen Rider Aqua. And he does the pulling out Eiji's underwear scene.
I was very confused for a second, and then I was like, okay. I'm just like, the band?
Yes, Kamen Rider, the entirety of Aqua.
New system just dropped.
Tenno, but it's Aqua.
Oh my god.
There's a camp show.
Oh man, I think I would pay to see that. These colors are not working out for me. Okay, that might work out. I may consult you briefly once more for PNGs. If I can settle, if the colors play nice.
I am going to end stream now, and I'm going to set us off in a raid.
Oh hell yeah!
I've got good notes for my uni stuff now. We've done very good in this conversation.
Oh yay! I was so worried that that I just kept tangenting way too much.
No, I think it worked good. Alright guys, thank you very much, y'all. Bye bye.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Wormy. I'll just shout, the other way since we've got a raid started, but
You're all good.
there you go. Alright guys.
Hell game. You heard that
God,
too.
that's
You
such
guys
an
heard
old
that
clip.
too.
Oh
Yeah,
god.
yeah.
I need to prune my clip.
That voice.
Alright. Bye bye guys.
Goodbye.
Yeah. bike. Yeah.
How can a government kill its own citizens that easily?